You know, we often hear take care of your heart, but looking after your kidneys doesn't usually get the same spotlight. For most of us, our kidneys quietly go about their business, filtering out waste and toxins without any fuss. No need for fancy cleanses or detoxes. They've got it covered. But for those with kidney health concerns, the rules of healthy eating can get a bit trickier. While it's easy to spot the best and worst foods for kidney health, some of the culprits may surprise you, including those so-called superfoods we're often told to load up on. So you might be curious, are there particular foods that can be especially harmful to the kidneys? The answer is yes. High levels of certain nutrients like sodium, potassium, and phosphorus can throw a wrench in your kidney's gears. As kidney function declines, sticking to the same old diet can actually make things worse. That's why it's crucial to be mindful of what you're putting on your plate. In this video, we'll dive into the foods that are high in these kidney-stressing nutrients, helping you make smarter choices for your kidney health. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You might just save a life by sharing this valuable information. Let's get started. 5. Avocados. Avocados are creamy, dreamy fruits that we just can't get enough of. They're not just delicious, they also contain all sorts of good stuff like heart-healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants. But here's the thing, they're also loaded with potassium, which can be a bit tricky if you're dealing with kidney issues. Now, avocados do not contain so much phosphorus or sodium, but when it comes to potassium, they're like the heavyweight champions. You see, when your kidneys aren't functioning at their best, potassium can start to build up in your blood, leading to a condition called hyperkalemia. This is when you've got too much potassium floating around in your bloodstream. It can cause all sorts of trouble. We're talking about heart rhythm issues, muscle weakness, and in serious cases, even cardiac arrest or worse. So, if you're keeping an eye on your potassium intake, it's all about portion control. Scaling back to just a quarter of an avocado can still let you enjoy its goodness without going overboard on the potassium. Remember though, everyone's dietary needs are different, so if you're unsure of how avocados fit into your kidney-friendly diet, it's always best to chat with your healthcare provider. 4. Sweet potatoes. Let's talk spuds. Potatoes and sweet potatoes to be exact. These starchy veggies are total powerhouses when it comes to potassium, which can be a bit of a challenge, especially if you're keeping an eye on your kidney health. Just one medium-sized baked potato can pack in a whopping 610 milligrams of potassium, while its sweet cousin, the sweet potato, comes in close behind with 542 milligrams. That's a pretty hefty dose of potassium in just one serving. But not to worry, there's a nifty little trick to help tame the potassium content of these tubers: soaking or leaching. By giving your potatoes or sweet potatoes a good soak or boil, you can reduce their potassium levels. Research suggests that boiling potatoes, especially if you start with cold water, can significantly decrease their potassium content. And even a simple soak in water for 5 to 10 minutes can slash potassium levels by up to 20%. This technique, known as potassium leaching or the double cook method, can be a handy tool for those looking to enjoy potatoes and sweet potatoes without going overboard on potassium. But here's the thing, while double cooking can lower potassium levels, it's not a magic eraser. Potassium will still be present, so it's important to practice portion control to keep those levels in check. And a quick heads up for all you sweet potato lovers out there. If you've got a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, you might want to think twice before diving into a plate of sweet potato goodness. These spuds are high in oxalate, which can increase your risk of developing these stones. So before you dig into that leached sweet potato, or any other high potassium food for that matter, it's always a good idea to check in with your doctor to make sure you're staying safe and healthy. 3. Dairy. Dairy is a staple in many of our diets, from morning cereal to late-night ice cream cravings. Milk, cheese, yogurt, and all their creamy cousins are beloved by young and old alike, and for good reason. They're packed with essential nutrients like protein, B vitamins, calcium, phosphorus, and potassium. But here's the thing. While dairy can be a nutritious powerhouse, it's important to be mindful of how much you're consuming, especially if you're dealing with kidney issues. You see, dairy products are not only high in protein, but also natural sources of phosphorus and potassium. Take a cup of whole milk, for example. It serves up a hefty dose of 205 milligrams of phosphorus and 322 milligrams of potassium. Now that's a lot of nutrients in just one serving. But here's where it gets tricky. If you have kidney disease, consuming too much dairy, along with other phosphorus-rich foods, can do more harm than good for your bones. Surprising, right? You'd think milk would be the go-to for strong bones. But when your kidneys aren't functioning properly, excess phosphorus can build up in your blood, pulling calcium from your bones and making them thin and weak over time. And that's not all. High phosphorus levels can also cause your blood vessels to harden, increasing your risk of heart problems. So what's the solution? Well, your healthcare professional or dietitian might recommend limiting dairy to just one serving a day to keep phosphorus levels in check. And if you're looking for alternatives, options like unenriched rice milk or almond milk can be lower in potassium, phosphorus, and protein, making them kidney-friendly substitutes. But here's the thing. Always read the labels carefully, because product formulas can change. What's low in phosphorus one year might be fortified the next, and even different flavors within the same brand can vary in nutrient content. When in doubt, try reaching out to the company directly for the most up-to-date information. You can go ahead and enjoy your dairy. Just remember to keep things balanced and listen to what your body needs. 2. Whole wheat bread. Navigating the bread aisle can feel like a maze, especially if you're managing kidney disease. While whole wheat bread is often hailed as a healthier choice for most people, the story changes when it comes to kidney health. You see, whole wheat bread packs a punch in the nutrient department thanks to its higher fiber content, but it's also higher in phosphorus and potassium, two nutrients that can spell trouble for those with kidney issues. Take a regular slice of whole wheat bread, for example. It's got about 76 milligrams of phosphorus and 90 milligrams of potassium. Compare that to a slice of white bread, which clocks in at approximately 32 milligrams of both phosphorus and potassium. See the difference? So what's the takeaway? Well, if you're watching your phosphorus and potassium intake, opting for white bread over whole wheat might be the smarter move. But that doesn't mean you have to bid farewell to whole wheat entirely. Simply cutting back on portion sizes can help keep your nutrient levels in check. And let's not forget about sodium, the common culprit lurking in most bread varieties, whether they're white or whole wheat. So it's always a good idea to scan those nutrition labels, opt for lower sodium options when possible, and keep an eye on your portion sizes. At the end of the day, choosing the right bread for you is all about finding that balance between taste, nutrition, and your unique health needs. 1. Canned foods. Canned foods are a go-to for many of us, offering convenience and affordability in one neat package. But there's a catch. They're often loaded with sodium, thanks to the salt added to preserve them and extend their shelf life. Now, for most people, a little sodium here and there isn't a big deal. But if you're managing kidney disease, it's a different story. High sodium intake is trouble for your kidneys, so it's usually best to avoid or limit canned foods in your diet. There are ways to navigate the canned aisle without sacrificing convenience. Opting for lower sodium varieties of those labeled no salt added is a good place to start. These options can help dial down the sodium content without skimping on flavor. Another handy trick is to give those canned goodies a quick rinse or drain before chowing down. Whether it's canned beans or tuna, a thorough rinse can help wash away some of that excess sodium, making your meal a little kidney friendlier. So the next time you're stocking up on canned soups, veggies, or beans, keep an eye out for those low sodium options and don't forget to give them a rinse before digging in. It's tough to completely avoid all these foods, especially in today's fast-paced world. But here's the thing. It's all about balance and moderation. Eating a wide variety of foods and keeping processed foods in check is key. Once your kidney function starts to decline, it's no joke. Trying to repair the damage to these vital organs can be a real uphill battle, not to mention the hefty price tag that often comes with it. Thanks for tuning in and learning more about kidney health. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it with your friends and family.